My career got shot up when I was like 14. I was some stupid the bullet that flew like right past.
The streets of Chicago murmured his name as a cautionary signal. Lil Jeff was not only another rapper delivering lyrics, he was a formidable figure in the drill scene, a shooter who substantiated every allegation with action. Pursuing adversaries into their residences and claiming responsibility for more than 8 fatalities. Bloodhound Jeff not only spoke assertively, but also acted decisively, wielding a Glock, instilling fear even in the most courageous rappers. Lil Jeff was accountable for the deaths of 11 individuals. Lil Jeff, or Bloodhound Lil Jeff, as he was known, was not just another rapper from the trenches. He was a formidable force, a devil incarnate, and a living nightmare for anyone who opposed him or his gang, the Bloodhounds. By the time he released his inaugural single, The Bloody Family, in late 2022, Jeff was already a legend in the streets. But it was not his lyrics that instilled fear, it was the bodies he purportedly left behind. Rappers feared him because he was not solely focused on music, he was immersed in that lifestyle. When it came to confronting his adversaries, Jeff did not engage in frivolities. He was the pistol professor, and the lessons were perpetually ongoing. Jeff's narrative commences in the southernmost region of Chicago, where he was merely a slender 12-year-old with aspirations of basketball stardom. However, by 2014, speculation had begun to circulate regarding Jeff's involvement in the homicide of an 18-year-old named Molly, affiliated with the Harai mob. At that time, Jeff was just a minor, scarcely old enough to wield a firearm, let alone discharge it. Nevertheless, the streets are rife with gossip, and the murmurs concerning Jeff's purported participation in Molly's murder persisted. Jeff's older brother J Boogie was already deep in the streets, and his influence on Jeff was apparent by the time Jeff was 18. He was well entrenched in the gang life, running with the Bloodhounds and developing a reputation for himself as someone not to be dealt with. In a DJ Vlad interview, Jeff acknowledged that he did not completely leave the porch until he turned 18, but once he did, there was no return. He stated, "When I finally came outside, I was 18. Jeff's upbringing was atypical. His father was reportedly absent, allegedly involved with the 068C block, while his mother appeared to foster his violent inclinations, as evidenced in a now viral Instagram story. Jeff's mother commended him for his reputation in the streets, saying, "Go ahead son, your name rings in the streets." I responded, "Is that my boy?" She even showed delight in him for sliding on people he used to share a bed with. As a child, Jeff's surroundings formed him into the monster he became. Watching the murder of Kenny Mack and having his family's home shot up with a bullet zipping by his head made a lasting mark on him. Just seeing it every day. I was seeing that every day you see what I'm saying, so the thing I was seeing that out 10, just like I'm doing right now. I'm a part of Jeff concluded. By the time Jeff began rapping, he was already a feared figure in the streets. First tracks The Bloody Family and Camp Beat Us were filled with gritty lyrics, cold-hearted boasts about his lifestyle style, but it was his outro on Camp Beat Us that really set the tone for who Jeff was. "I'm really not a rapper," he said, repeating it twice for emphasis. "I'm really not a rapper for Jeff." Music was just a side hustle. His real talent was catching bodies. According to street rumors, Jeff was responsible for the killings of Rob Monty, Lil Gutter from Hit Squad, Slide Clay Boogie from 95, and Baby KD. Whether these tales were genuine or not, they contributed to his mystery and made him a figure to be dreaded. One of Jeff's most prominent claimed victims was Lil Pooh, a young guy from the Flipside set who was purportedly linked with Trap City, whose death in April 2023 sent shockwaves through the drill community, and Jeff didn't shy away from accepting blame. On a tribute post for Pooh, Jeff commented he was dissing Z Money, referring to the fallen Bloodhounds member whose death had sparked a brutal feud between the Bloodhounds and Trap City. But Pooh wasn't the only one. In June 2023, Trap City member Lil Rail named Jalil Goes was shot and killed while sitting in a parked ride-share car in the Little Italy neighborhood. The shooting took place in one of Chicago's safest areas, making it all the more shocking. The very next day, Jeff, JB, and Q50 published their remix to Lil Yt's Coffin with lyrics that appeared to address Lol's MD. Jeff's music was replete with these types of veiled disses and blatant threats. His track, Extended, he rapped about capturing his ops in a fishbowl, a reference to Lil Being shot in a vehicle with untinted windows, Jeff even joked about it on Instagram Live, stating he was attempting to capture a shark in a Shark Tank. Jeff's reputation wasn't confined to Chicago. Rumors swirled that he was carrying out contract killing in Milwaukee, with photos circulating of him hanging out with alleged local gang members. Jeff and the Bloodhounds referenced these claims in their music, with lyrics suggesting they were selling hits across state lines in the song Run But Can't Hide. Jeff covered how the Bloodhounds received blood for hire, implying that they're selling hits too, but there's little actual proof to back up these accusations. The rumors further increased to Jeff's terrible image. What made Jeff really dangerous was his attitude toward violence. For him, murdering wasn't simply a need, it was a fun. In one viral video, Jeff was seen sitting in a vehicle laughing about smoking someone who ran away after spotting his pistol. Users on Reddit were startled by how nonchalantly Jeff addressed the matter, with one post noting this __ was truly all a game to him. But Jeff wasn't born a monster. He was the result of a violent environment and a family that promoted his behavior. His mother's praise for his violent reputation and his brother's influence in the streets shaped him into the person he became. Most of Jeff's alleged killings revolved around the feud between the Bloodhounds and Trap City. What made this beef so personal was the fact that Jeff and his ops were once friends. Jeff grew up with many of the individuals he subsequently attacked, and he didn't hesitate to sing about murdering kids he used to share a bed with. In the song Run But Can't Hide, Jeff rapped, "I'm beefing with guys that I used to be so close with. We used to sleep in the same bed." This line was almost word for word what his mother had said in their text exchange, where she praised him for sliding on his childhood friends. The feud between the Bloodhounds and Trap City is one of the most brutal in Chicago drill history, and Jeff was at the center of it. His music was filled with disses aimed at Trap City, and his alleged involvement in the murders of Lil and others only fueled the fur. Lil Jeff was the face of the Bloodhound gang for years. The Bloodhounds and Trap City ran together under the banner of Bloodhound 0679, a coalition that included Drill City 400 East, MTV 079, and Chris World. This alliance was supposed to be unbreakable, a united front against rival sets. These sets were locked in, no major beef, just holding it down together. Rappers like RBTC, Lil Capfer, and Mooka were repping hard, dropping tracks like On Fire and showing love to the hood. Even King Von's sister KB and the late Enchanting made cameos in the video, chilling in Trap City like it was family. But all that unity, it went up in flames in 2023, and it all started with one move that changed everything. See, the streets was cool for a minute, but then on March 16th, 2023, Z Money aka Z Nelson, Jeff's cousin and a significant character in the Bloodhound set, gets trapped in deadly ambush. Dude was posted in his ride on 79th and Kimball waiting for his homie, who was drawing off clothes at the dry cleaner. Out of nowhere, a whip pulls up and shots ring out. Z Money tried to dip, but they caught him in a hail of bullets. Over 29 times his boy returned fire, but it was too late. Z Money W gone, and the streets lost a real one. Now here's where it gets messy. Z Money wasn't just any random, he was Jeff's right hand, like a brother from Boogie. Jeff's real brother got locked up when Z Money got hit. It shook the whole Bloodhound set. Jeff and Q50 even tatted his name on their eyelids and Z's on their trigger fingers to show love, but the PA ran deeper than tats. Z Money's mama was out here heartbroken, telling the Trace how her son was dead on arrival, how she might be walking past his killers every day. That's some heavy stuff. Now the streets started talking. Word got around that Z Money's own people, his old crew from Trap City, might have set him up. Yeah, you heard that right. The same dudes he used to roll with were now the ones allegedly pulling the trigger. Some said it was over a girl, others said it was about a stolen chain. Either way, the trust was broken and the alliance was done. Fast forward to July 2024, and Trap City's own Rob Tarrant and OTF Black sat down with X-Man Rico on YouTube. They didn't come out and say it straight, but they hinted that the beef between Trap City and Drill City, and by extension Bloodhound, started over some petty chain snatching. A chain fam, that's all it took to turn brothers into enemies.
I've tried to tell them that the chain was stolen, but he had it all along, playing around little kid games. And then when
in 2023, Drill City members allegedly jacked a Trap City affiliate's chain engraved with 67 stalking. To outsiders, it might seem trivial, but in the streets, a chain isn't just jewelry, it's a symbol of pride, power, and respect. Trap City took The theft as a personal insult, a slap in the face from their so-called allies. The fallout was immediate. Trap City cut ties with the Alliance, and the streets quickly divided. Most sets sided with Drill City, leaving Trap City isolated and furious. What followed was a cycle of violence that turned Chicago into a war zone. Bodies started dropping, and the drill music scene became a soundtrack to the bloodshed. Zon's death hit the Bloodhounds hard, especially Lil Jeff. Jeff and Zoni were more than cousins, they were brothers in the streets. Jeff's sadness swiftly turned to hatred, and he swore to make Trap City pay. In the months that followed, Jeff became the face of the Bloodhounds, spearheading the onslaught against their erstwhile friends. In June 2023, Jeff made good on his promise. Trap City member Lil Real Nam Jaleel Go was seated in an Uber in the Little Italy district when Jeff Ly came up and fired fire. La didn't stand a chance. The shooting sends shockwaves across Trap City, and Jeff didn't hesitate to rub salt in the wound. In his music and social media postings, Jeff taunted Trap City over Lil's death. Jeff's brazenness only contributed to his image as a daring and vicious murderer. Barely 2 months later, Lil Jeff and the Bloodhounds were aided again on August 31st, 2023, about 2 p.m., an alleged member of Trap City named Glendale was posted at a Clark gas station on 67th and deep in Trap City's hood. Out of nowhere, someone rolls up and starts blasting. Glenn gets hit multiple times and ends up in critical condition. This was a brutal day in Chicago, with 4 people getting shot in Woodlaw alone, including a 4-year-old boy. Thankfully, Glenn survived, and the next day, he was on social media thanking everyone who checked on him, but he also sent a message to the people who wanted him dead, and let's be real, that message was aimed straight at the Bloodhounds in Drill City. The feud escalated in January 2024 when Monterey Monty Drench Williams and Robert Lil Rob Boston brothers from Gritty Block were killed down in broad daylight. The assault was methodically planned, with the gunman waiting for the ideal opportunity to strike. Monty and Lil Rob were well-known characters in their gang, and their death sent shockwave across the neighborhood. Lil Jeff didn't shy away from claiming responsibility for the double murder. He turned to social media, posting cryptic comments and subtle disses that hinted at his participation. His Instagram posts were packed with insults intended at Trap City, a Gritty Block, further establishing his image as a nasty gangster. Jeff's songs also highlighted his participation in the killing actions, like Double Peril, as street confessions became anthems in the drill scenario, with fans scrutinizing every song for clues about the killings. Jeff's song wasn't simply entertainment, it was a terrifying testament to the terrible environment he lived. The streets don't forget, and Trap City wasn't willing to allow Jeff's crimes go unpunished. In a horrific act of vengeance, they attacked Lil Squirrel, one of Jeff's close buddies. The message was clear: no one affiliated with Lil Jeff was safe. Lil Squirrel's death hit Jeff hard. Despite his hardened exterior, Jeff was deeply affected by the loss of someone close to him. He took to social media to express his grief, posting an Instagram story where he claimed Lil Squirrel was innocent and not a gang member. The post was a rare glimpse into Jeff's vulnerable side, showing that even he wasn't immune to the pain and loss that came with the gang lifestyle, but it also fueled his desire for revenge. The streets of Chicago became even more dangerous as the cycle of violence continued. By June 2024, Lil Jeff had become a legend in the streets. His music was blowing up, and his reputation as the Pistol Professor was cemented, but fame in the drill scene comes with a price, and Jeff's enemy were closing in. On June 8, 2024, Jeff, his right-hand man Q50, and their associate Vert decided to slide on Trap City territory once again. They pulled up to a trap house in a stolen SUV, ready to make a statement. Jeff, ever brazen, hopped out and began chasing a Trap City member named Man. However, this mission would prove to be Lil Jeff's last with his beloved Bloodhound members. Rappers rejoice after Lil Jeff's death. The streets don't care about your name, your clout, or your bars. If you play with fire, you're going to get burned. And for Lil Jeff, the leader of the Bloodhounds, the fire came on June 8, 2024, in the most dramatic way possible. Jeff was always more about the streets than the music. He said it himself in his RPS. But on that fateful day, the same drills he was dishing out came back to bite him. Surveillance footage leaked online shows Jeff, Q50, and another guy driving up on South Rhodes Avenue, a sight Jeff had bragged about blowing up in his songs. They got out the vehicle, weapons blazing, pursuing a dude in bright yellow shorts, eventually identified as Man, dodged behind a car and fled up a porch. Jeff doing Exactly what he rapped about raced Man right to the home, but what he didn't anticipate was someone inside waiting with the heat. As soon as Jeff reached the porch, bullets rang out from the house, dropping him before he could even make it up the stairs. Jeff was struck hard, falling back onto the ground, and his shooters didn't let up. Reports indicate they discharged a whole magazine into him, leaving him unconscious on the sidewalk whilst Q50 and the other gunmen were behind Jeff returning fire. Q50 EV launched shots at a passing automobile, perhaps getting himself an attempted murder charge in the process, but when the driver of their hit saw Jeff was gone, they sank without him. Jeff's corpse was left behind as gunfire continued ringing out. Here's where it gets crazy. Q50 and the crew somehow turned around, got Jeff's body, and transported him to the hospital. Yup, they went back to the site of the firefight Jeff up and got him to the ER. A photo later surfaced online showing Q50 and another man carrying Jeff's lifeless body into the hospital, but the streets don't sleep footage of the shooting spread like wildfire. Reddit's shy subreddit with everyone weighing in on the wild modern-day shootout. Many said Jeff and the Bloodhounds underestimated their ops and paid the price. And then came the mockery. Trap City members didn't waste any time clowning Jeff in Q50. They took to Instagram reenacting the shooting, laughing at how Jeff got caught slipping. Right here, call right. Rappers from Trap City started dropping bars and posts mocking Jeff's death and Q50's failed attempt to save him. The streets are ruthless, and Jeff's death was a reminder that no one's untouchable. For all the bars he dropped about chasing ops and shooting up blocks, Jeff found himself on the opposite side of the same violence. He praised social media, transformed into a fight with diss songs, memes, and pure disrespect filling the timelines. Jeff's death wasn't just another body dropping, was a moment that shook the drill scene and set off a wave of chaos, mockery, and revenge threats. Right after the news broke, comments started flying. Phrases like Trap City became the go-to disc in Jeff's mentions, with fans and haters alike clowning the set allegedly responsible for his death. Some even declared that Trap City would soon be renamed Trap Cemetery and vowed that the set would be in danger forever. Others went as far as saying they felt a twisted sense of joy every time shots rang out in Trap City's neighborhood, but the drama didn't stop there. Reddit detective went full Sherlock Holmes, attempting to figure out who fired the gun. After 2 days, fans were putting the blame at Trap City Rob, also known as EY Trap Rob, who'd been arrested multiple times at the house where the shooter fired from. The port quickly became the internet's prime suspect. Post naming Rob as wanted and on the run spread like wildfire. An article confirmed that the shooter was indeed wanted by police, and by June 1st, Reddit users thought they had spotted Rob in a photo. In the pic, Rob was wearing a shirt that some claim was trolling Jeff in the way he died. The internet went nuts, and Rob's old rap song, "What a Feeling," suddenly went viral, racking up over 10,000 new views as comment sections filled with references to Jeff's death. But here's the twist: Rob was detained, but then freed without facing any charges for Jeff's homicide. The streets were split. Some dubbed it self-defense, while some termed it overkill. Drill pundit Trench's News stepped in, stating 19 bullets, that's why they grab Rob. It ain't self-defense, that's overkill. But Trench's also criticized the Chicago justice system, saying they lock up the wrong people and let the real ones walk. Meanwhile, the reason behind Jeff's fatal move to chase Man became a hot topic. According to one Reddit thread, Jeff was trying to kill Man because he was using their house as a drug hotpot. The automobile scenario in the clip, supposedly it was merely a client for picking up narcotics. Zop Hills Coke, who knows Man had even given a picture of his bright yellow shorts to a group chat after someone offered to purchase them for a high amount. But Trench's News had another notion. It was all over a false chain. According to Trench's, Jeff took a chain from someone who was later killed, played games about it being stolen, and then got jumped when the truth came out. That Fig spiraled into a full-blown war, ending with Jeff's death. Lil Jeff tried to tell him that the chain was stolen, but he had it all alone playing around little kid games. Hey, then, when they seen him, they hooped. Lil Jeff jumped on him and fought him, and then next thing you know, it turned spiral into like killing. Trenches also didn't hold back, calling Jeff out for popping up out of nowhere, claiming 8 bodies, and quoting King Von every other sentence. Meanwhile, the whole atmosphere was different for Lil Jeff's family and his Bloodhound gang members, who finally got a taste of what they subjected to family and friends of the victims to the day after Lil Jeff's death on June 9th, 2024. The streets were heavy with heartbreak and rage. Jeff's close family and friends were left staring at his pictures in disbelief, trying to process the loss of a young man who had become a legend in the drill scene. His brother J Boogie was said to be on the verge of losing his mind when he heard the City celebrates what they regard as a triumph. However, in these streets, the cycle never stops. One man's downfall is another man's rise up, and the conflict between Blood and Trap City is far from done. Rest in peace, Lil Jeff, but in the drill world, peace is a luxury. No one can afford the drills keep whirling and the corpses keep falling. For more stuff like this, click on the videos showing on your screen now.